Welcome to another episode of Better Than Netflix Fantasy Football. The Week 1 playoffs had some upsets. Had Travis winning his almost easy win. Sorry, Justin. And I'm really hoping Travis gets a little bit of Logan luck out there. Logan knows what we're talking about. So, and jumping straight into this week's winners, Una Master shows his number 1 seed and sails through the quarterfinals against...
152,
yeah.
my friend.
And Justin wasn't much of a match, but he also made it to the playoffs. So, good on him.
Yeah.
And the auto drafter Trevor stuck to his guns this last week, left everyone out there, attempted their best, and did it by walking all over Logan. I'll call it walking all over. It wasn't close enough.
12 points.
So, the auto drafter Trevor and Travis will be on head-to-head in this upcoming semifinals showdown. It's probably the one to watch, as the other one includes Derek. Not the most exciting person to watch, but he did have a nice little performance, being the 3rd seed, surprisingly, to all of us, and took down a Steelers fan 69. Did not show, the Steelers lost, so did the Steelers fan, so it wasn't all luck. It was mostly a strength of schedule. So, and then the apparently controversial win of yours truly as a commissioner. I knocked Pope's hat back on, and I squeaked through the second round after an apparent...
One of the closest of the entire year. One of the closest finishes.
Yeah. So, after...
0.32.
The updated stats to Jarvis Landry.
I'm kidding.
So, big note there that you put in there, Mike. Last year's Super Bowl managers couldn't duplicate.
See ya. I had to go against them twice, knock me out, and obviously they were dog shit, so that just kind of shows how bad I am. Both of them knocked out, first round of playoffs. Yeah. I guess almost everybody who was at the sharp end last year is
struggling.
Having a bad time. Except for you.
Oh, no, I'm struggling.
I'm looking at the board here, mate, and you and the participants, I think, are one of the only two hanging on here at the end that were at the sharp end last time. Top 5.
I'm keeping my hang in there poster just up on my wall right now. It's just a small cat.
It's you, actually.
Yeah, it's... And let's jump into our game, because there's not a whole lot to talk about this week, as the limited amount of games
That's right.
matter.
Concentrate on the semifinals there, as you say. The participants, Derek versus Commissioner Gordon, Cameron, yourself, as the number 3 and number 7 seeds, respectively. Got them up on the old board here. And just kind of taking a look at who the players are out of the gate. Maybe we can spend a little bit more time on this one, given that it is playoffs. On Derek's side for QB, we got Cousins, and on your side we got Mayfield. If I look to the bench, I got Stafford for yourself and Bridgewater for Dirk. Those are the options right now. I got to lean towards Derek in the QB game. Not so much on the Cousins thing, because that's kind of hit or miss. We just look at this last week. He actually was on a roll here. Let's talk about Cousins for a second. 22, 21, 24, 29, 22, and then 13, right when Derek needs him. But he is going against Chicago next. I got to be honest with you, not a big fan of that matchup. We go to your side with Mayfield. Obviously, big talk of the town is Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And let's talk about some of the old Mayfield here. I want to go a little further back. Week 7, 34 points. Okay, that's legit. Week 8, 10. Then a bye. Houston, 6. Philly, 4. Jacksonville, 20. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And then how about this? Tennessee, 32. And then against the Baltimore defense, I would not have called this his best game of the year, at least for fantasy, 34-62. And then now he's going against the Giants. Yeah, I'm going to go Mayfield on this. The projection says 17-4 versus Cousins 18-0. You know what I say about projections, my friend.
Yes, and I just want to tell you, Baker Mayfield's shaping up to be a playoff quarterback here. Maybe not in NFL.
Good matchups.
But it's looking good towards the end of the route. I will say having him as my only option this week, I scavenged the waiver wire, and there was no risk takers for the quarterback for myself, as I don't like any of these options. I think the
not
best
much to talk about.
yeah the best option was Drew Brees on IR. So,
To your point, Rivers, Hurts, newly in for Philly, Hill, who I just shit canned, Trubisky, Minshew, Chase Daniel. Now that I've said Chase Daniel, we can stop talking about QBs.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I'll jump right into the running backs here. I've locked down the Arizona backfield here, of Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds. Combined, they're making me one fantastic running back, and I'm wounded in that department. McKinnon's hurt. I've got Gibson, who's questionable. He went from doubtful to questionable to doubtful to questionable, so not a very good trend for me there.
Yeah, real quick, to your point, you got 13 out of Drake and 7 out of Edmonds, and it gives you 20 points. Like you said, it gives you one really good one. But if there was anything else that you could do, it might not be a bad idea. Oh, there's Pollard in your flex.
Yeah, be back up to Ezekiel Elliott. I traded Derrick Henry away for a backup running back who hasn't panned out, and a solid wide receiver who's currently not in my lineup. So, you're welcome, Travis.
Yeah. And we all looked at that and go, "Wow, Cameron's an idiot."
Meanwhile, here I am in the playoffs.
Still an idiot.
So,
looking over at Derek's side, though, it's a little more straightforward. It's pretty strong.
Yeah, it's unfortunately strong. There's not much to wither away. I'm picking up a player right now. 1 second.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Right in the middle of the podcast, Cameron's going, "Wow, my running backs are pretty shit. I should do something about that." Talking about Derek's running back, so he's got Ronald Jones here with a questionable. I'm not seeing like it's going to be an issue. Oh wait, undergoes surgery Tuesday to repair his broken left pinky finger.
Questionable. Yeah, that's fair. Derek,
yeah.
You can watch this.
When was the last time you saw undergoes surgery, will play this weekend? It is the pinky, but
he's a running back. He doesn't need those.
What's he got going on the deal here? He does have Gurley on the bench, but that's his only flip side. If that holds true with Jones and things don't go well, that's going to be tough. And then Robinson against Baltimore, that's tough.
Yeah.
So it could be a toss up. You're double down on Arizona versus Philly. That could work considering what you're going against.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think Baltimore's going to come hunting for glory after Chubb and the other Cleveland running back, Kareem Hunt, ran all over him on Monday. So I think they're going to try to shut down that run game hard in Jacksonville. Still give Derek the edge here, just for pure numbers. I've got Tyler Lockett, Seattle. You know what? He was very strong until I got him, so I don't know what I've done to him. Someone's poisoned his water hole. And but he's against Washington. It'll be tough. Good. It'll be a good matchup. But
the good news is you got Russell Wilson in the quarterback position. He can kind of scramble a little bit and get away from that front 3 or 4 out of Washington. But you've been hanging out with Cooper all season long, and he's been decent.
Yeah, decent is key here. I think I played him in my bye week because he was my best option. So he's sat there. He's been strong and true. Nothing spectacular, but do I need that really? I like to think my players are participants. So, and on the other side, we got Calvin Ridley, who for some reason
solid.
He either knocks your socks off or doesn't catch the football, which is terribly disappointing. More socks. Yeah, it's disgusting, actually.
Week 11 points, 14, 13, and fresh off at 22 last week. Now, that being said, again, going to talk about some defense going against Tampa Bay, who depends on which Tampa Bay shows up, but it is a tougher matchup for Ridley.
For sure. And then once again, looks like the wide. You know what? If I'm looking at just the names on my board, I like my side of the football. If I'm looking at the 2020 foundation of where you get points, God damn it, Derek. So tight ends, I win this matchup 9 out of 10 times. Hawkinson versus Ingram, there's no doubt about it. That 0.3 is just not showing the true 7 points I get a game.
Yeah, and I'll also give you the nod on the defense. You've got a Cleveland defense going against the Giants there, and Cleveland's been pretty strong from time to time. Tennessee has shown some strength as well, but I think the bigger question here is going to be perhaps in the quarterback for Detroit. If Stafford has any bigger issues, I'll go ahead and click on him real quick. What is the problem? Rib cartilage injury.
Plays right through that.
Probably. I mean, if it was a broken back, I'd say he was in. But with a rib injury, that could be all. For Stafford.
It's wild. Looking at the flex position, it looks like I've gotten running back, which is amazing, with the lack of running backs I have, and with
not against Anderson though. You got to give it to Dirk here with
Anderson.
That's
a measly 6 points I'm projected, but it's fine. Projections don't mean apps. It's fine.
Yeah.
Kickers. It's a roll of the dice, but the high-scoring offense of KC versus a high-scoring offense of New Orleans should be a high-scoring game, so they'll be taking points where they can get them.
You would think.
Washington defense pretty strong, but Seattle's got DK Metcalf on the outside and is pretty good as well.
Yep, it's pretty even.
Defenses. Looking at the Dolphins' defense have been phenomenal for me. And the Colts against Houston, Houston, sometimes they show like they're a playoff team with a 2-8 record. It's amazing.
I do want to point out something though, real quick. On your end, Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
Against New England.
Yeah.
Tua, 28 points. Likes to run the ball. Likes to burn the clock. That's going to be solid. That's going to be good, especially when you look at the other side of the ball with Cam, which, by the way, you had for a good chunk of time, and I don't see him anywhere on the
dropped him like second period Spanish.
But it's hard to go against the Colts. I was an idiot, and I dropped him on a bye, thinking that the schedule was going to go against him, and they kept it rolling. And they're going to be tough to vote against here. This is going to be a tough matchup. You really you lay it down, look at both sides. You're looking at double digits out of 4 out of the last 5 games, 5 out of the last 7 for Indy. So it's pretty damn solid at Indianapolis defense. You look at the entire deal, and the projections say Dirk's got the advantage by a hefty margin, 15. I
don't believe in those numbers.
Going in. Indeed.
I don't.
Which must bring us to our next game on the It Actually Matters program.
And let me tell you, how many of us are rooting for
everyone?
Trevor.
Everyone is. Be the upset of the
13
season.
people, 12 of them are rooting for Trevor.
Indeed. And if we look at the lineup here, oh man! Aside from Mahomes, who's the next highest projected?
Derrick Henry.
Weird. What an idiot. Good. More for him. Anyway, you scratch this thing. This is lined up 100% in Uno Masters' favor. I don't see how Travis does not win. But so to that point, we're run through real quick. We're not going to spend any time on them because they're the best. Mahomes, Davis in for McCaffrey. McCaffrey's not going to play at all. So we can just scratch him. Fantastic drafting out of Travis. I would have done
obviously. He's in the semis. So it was purely because of his draft capital.
Davis obviously ended up being a diamond in the rough. Henry from your dumbass move. Hopkins has been phenomenal. Jefferson's been a fantastic rook, right? He's a rookie, yeah. Jefferson. Waller, one of the two tight ends that we're going to want to have in the conversation. We'll talk about tight ends later in the show. Allen's been phenomenal. Sanders been pretty damn consistent. And the Buccaneers defense against Atlanta depends on what Atlanta you get, but that's solid. What do you think about Cap Not So Obvious or Cam?
Kyler Murray is a great choice. Versus Patrick Mahomes, I'm leaning towards the potential MVP. Mostert, hit or miss.
New Orleans could show up against Mahomes. They could show up.
He could. It's still Mahomes. Mostert, solid B choice. Sanders, right there with that B choice. He's good. Solid players. Michael Thomas, phenomenal. Not really.
Whenever he plays.
Yeah.
Playing lately, though.
He's playing lately. Still not a hot streak, so kind of iffy there. I don't think he was incorporated into the offense as much as Breeze was using him. CeeDee Lamb, don't know why he's on his team. Travis Kelce, probably better than all of his the names I've said prior.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Thomas, you understand.
It's interesting. Kelsey and Waller, the two best tight ends, going again in the same game. So a little subcategory there to keep an eye on.
That's going to be, I won't say the deciding factor, but damn. Cooper Kupp, he should be a wide receiver 2 here in this lineup. I don't know why he's in his flex.
Going against the Jets, this could be. I mean, I've got Woods on the other end, but this could be big for Kupp.
Yeah, for sure. Crosby, versus your Carolinas, just not a great. Carolina has been good. Green Bay's been scoring a lot of points. Ravens probably looking to come back strong after that Monday night almost catastrophe and Lamar Jackson's poop game.
And against a Jacksonville offense that you never know what you're going to get there. Aside from the running game, right, which has been consistent. So if the Ravens show up on the defensive side of the ball on the front end, then they definitely have an advantage there. But still, it's tough to go against this lineup that Travis has, man. And I think, like you said, out of 13, 12 are rooting against him.
Yeah, and there's some let's call it 5th and 7th place games going on this week between Justin, Logan, Taylor, and Pope. We're gonna skip right over those guys as it's just bragging rights for them at this point.
Right.
For the where's this screen? Consolation. Also known as the worst of the worst.
Best of the worst.
Best of the worst. Optimism's key here, but since I'm not here, I'm not going to note that.
Do you see how they reseed everybody?
That is
true. I'm the number 2 seed of the shit 4.
Yep. So, shout out to Saved by Odell, Cody, and Z going up against Casey here for the gangbang. Guys, set your lineups. If you win this week, you don't have to pay the $20. Let's call it fine. Loser's fee.
Yeah, this is the week. If we're gonna spend any time on the consolation round, aside from this is it. You need to not lose.
Yeah.
You just need to not lose. Yeah.
So
that's it.
And we'll go in a little bit. The losers of these games, which is the other game is Bears Beats Beginners, Shelby's, and you, Mike. I like Turtles. The losers of this game will fight in the 11th place match. Game.
All eyes on. Aside from the Super Bowl, that's the only.
We're going to be talking about 2 games next week.
The best and the worst. The worst and the best.
So, and guys, that kind of wraps up this week's matchups rather nicely. And since we have a little bit of extra time to spare, we're going to throw some questions at you because we want to improve this because I think a lot of people enjoyed the podcast, listen to it. I know Travis subscribed. I know Mike hasn't, so I should have at least 12, 13.
I got the hint. All right.
And so
we've got 3 YouTube accounts. I'll make sure I click on each one there.
So, guys, any improvements? If you need a new host, I'm sure Derek will be happy to replace both of us. He can talk to himself.
This is not the full caster Netflix show. It's
not
happening. But, to Cameron's point, obviously we have a good time doing it, playing around when I actually figure out what day we're going to do it on. But fast forward to next year, we are talking about expanding a little bit or being a part of more leagues. So this wouldn't be the only one. We would involve more stuff, probably some Cowspy leagues, etc. So to Cameron's point, what should we talk about more, talk about less? Is the format good? Do you want more informational crap, or do you get that from all the rest of your podcasts? Do you listen to any of the podcasts, or is it literally just because you got nothing else going on in your day for 20 minutes?
Yeah, and so shoot us an Instagram chat, anything like that. As Mike kind of hinted at, we're going to keep this core league going for everyone that wants to keep doing it. Justin, I know you're in Japan. I really want to do an in-person draft. So you let me know your schedule, and I'll make it happen.
Right.
As also like COVID and stuff. So, and then on the other side of things, thinking about next year, if right now we're pretty standard. We're a half-point PPR league with a pretty basic lineup for roster spots goes. So things that I kind of want to throw out there is throwing in an IR spot, maybe depending on COVID ability next year. Eliminating the kickers from the lineup completely because it seems to be kind of like a question mark every time. As well as like making some tinkers such that like taking the tight end spot out and letting them just, because there's so few tight ends out there, being able to play a tight end at the wide receiver position might be a better option. Because really, if you don't have Travis Kelce or the whale man,
Darren Waller, or whoever else
Yeah.
decides to show up, whether it be Kittle or Ertz or whatever.
Yeah, it's not like you're hunting for those. Once you get them in the draft, you got to hold on to them. And apparently, we don't trade enough here. So just kind of options like that, kind of opening the floor for you guys to kind of give some feedback. I know this every year we kind of seem to be last minute with this, so I hope that we can be ahead of the curve and
talking about it before the season ends. How about that?
Because if we didn't talk about this week and if we didn't talk about next week, we probably wouldn't talk about it until June, August. So,
hey, and I'll raise my hand in saying that I have not yet paid the dues. Once again, we do actually need to throw in our 20, and someone they're 40, and I hope it's not me. Pride, really, of anything.
Of anything, yeah. So, guys, hit me on Venmo. Hit me, I'll see if I see the track. Throw some cash at me. I know. I think a fourth of us have paid the league dues. That being said, I will pay the champion the day after our Super Bowl via Venmo. Even if you guys gave me cash, I'll pay you Venmo. So. Unless it's Justin, then I'm going to snail mail your money and hope it gets there. And it's going to be in yen.
I thought you were going to say something. Yeah. It should be in yen. This is the only way you can use a bloody.
That's true. So, and I also wanted to rep some of Travis's gear here. Look
nice. Bloody favoritism.
I know. I've worn this for 3 days straight. So.
Best favorite as it gets.
But, once again, thanks for listening to us every week, guys. Every other week. I know who you are. And I'm really hoping I can close my year out with some wins. I'm heading to a very derelict round 2 of the playoffs. And Mike, you're fighting for your lives. But as always, Mike, what do projections mean to you?
If you look at the Tom Brady 27.9 projection for quarterback, they're dead nuts.
They're dead nuts.
Perfect.
Thanks for listening, guys.
They mean shit.
And
they're fucking shit.
Hopefully we can talk about Derek losing next week as well. Later.